That one time 5,000 black kids went to jail in Birmingham.
5,000 black kids? Yeah, you ain't know? Hell no. All those pictures with the hoses? And the dogs? Yeah, those were all kids. I see what had happened was Dr. King had just gotten out after writing a letter from a Birmingham jail and found out that the state was making money off black people by putting them in prison and forced them to pay bail to get out. So he figured black folks could flip the script and pack the prisons without paying bail and then force the state to have to pay money to house and feed them. Yes, but where did the kids come in? When he asked their mamas and daddies, they was on some, I work for a white man, gotta keep putting food on the table, sorry. I feel you, but I can't have the clan on my lawn scaring my babies. Then the children stood up and said, pick me. But because none of the adults were here for it, kids from elementary all the way to high school worked with local radio show hosts and local pastors to pull off this secret operation they called D-Day.
Were the house slaves who took care of the owner's house and family, while the field slaves worked in the fields from sunrise to sunset with just one 15-minute break a day. To eat, slaves were given meager rations, mostly of cornmeal, pork, and molasses. And every year, slaves received one new set of winter and summer clothes and a new blanket. Most slaves shared their small cabins with 10 to 12 people and slept on straw piled on a dirt floor. And so the lives of the slaves who did the work on plantations were filled with unending hardship, suffering, and poverty, in order that those who enslaved them could enjoy lives of comfort, luxury, and ease.
The number of African people kidnapped during the transatlantic slave trade is estimated at approximately 12.8 million people. That's 88 people per day, every day, for 400 years. These people were transported in custom-built ships meant to maximize profit, so they were packed in as tightly as possible. And the 2-month journey started at a coastal fort like Ghana's Elmina Castle and ended somewhere in the Caribbean. This became known as the Middle Passage. Where enslaved people ended up was determined by the skill sets that they had. For example, people like the Wolof, Yoruba, and Mandinka were targeted for their rice growing skills, and they were brought to the Carolinas and to Georgia to grow Carolina gold rice. Other cultures like the Soninke from Senegal were targeted for their ability with dyes and brought to the colonies to work with indigo. Wherever trade products went, African people with the skill sets to utilize them were forced to follow.
Fast Black History. Y'all all know Harriet Tubman, but I bet there's something you didn't know. She was the first woman to lead a military force in the U.S., and here's how she did it. Harriet partnered with Colonel James Montgomery, an abolitionist at the time. And with armed troops, they went to South Carolina. And imagine, right when the signal was given, slaves came running from their plantations in refuge with Harriet. Harriet, how many slaves were freed that day? 700. So Harriet was really that chick. I think she'd want you to remember, Black history is your history.
Wait a minute. What's going on? You haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet? Nah, that's not okay. Let's go and fix this right now. Go on. What are you waiting for? Don't worry, I'll wait for you. Thank you.
History Month, I always think about the fact that we are alive. And I don't mean that in some type of philosophical way. I mean like literally. Black people are alive. The lives that we live right now are literally a result of beauty, struggle, and a desire to live at a time when living clearly felt like death. We are literal miracles. We are descendants of people who survived white supremacy at a time where white supremacy was the worst. It's amazing. You are Black history, fam. We are Black history, dog. Like, waking up, going to school, getting a job, living in this world and accomplishing anything. That's Black history. So celebrate that shit, man. For real. Go off. Because the fact of the matter is, they tried to stop you before you were even here.
Hey everyone, and happy Black History Month. So seeing as I'm a black person and a history major at Yale, I thought it would be a good idea to share some fast facts about this important celebration. First, Black History Month was created in 1926 and initially only lasted a week and was referred to as Negro History Week. Second, it was started by a man named Carter G. Woodson, a University of Chicago and Harvard graduate from New Canton, Virginia. Third, it became a month-long celebration in 1976, and the month of February was chosen to coincide with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. Fourth, other countries like Canada and the UK have their own versions of Black History Month to celebrate the contributions of Black people to their nation's history, but in the UK it starts in October. Fifth, in his own words, President Gerald Ford officially recognized Black History Month to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history. This is why there's no White History Month, because the accomplishments of white Americans are widely and routinely celebrated. And last, every year since 1928, every Black History Month has had an official theme, and this year the theme is the Black Family, Representation, Identity, and Diversity. Follow for more.
Welcome to Black History Fast Facts, where every day in February I give you a fact about Black history you might not have known. Today's Fast Fact: Rosa Parks wasn't the first person to refuse to give up her seat on the bus. That title belongs to Claudette Colvin. Actually, that's not entirely true either. Dozens of people actually refused to give up their seat beforehand, but for the most part they were quietly fined and forgotten. Claudette Colvin was the first person to challenge the law and take the case to court. On March 2nd, 1955, then 15-year-old Claudette Colvin was asked to give up her seat for a white woman as she rode home from school on the bus. She refused, and as a result, was arrested. 9 months later, Rosa Parks did the same thing, and her arrest made her the face of the Montgomery bus boycotts and the face of the NAACP. So the question becomes, why do we know about Rosa Parks and not Claudette Colvin? The answer is that the NAACP did not see her as the right person for the job. According to Colvin, it was because she was too young, too emotional, too militant, too dark-skinned, and too nappy-headed to be the face of the movement. And when she got pregnant shortly thereafter, she was essentially erased from history. Colvin's case proves that while we've made a lot of progress, we still have a long way to go. And that's your Black History Fast Fact.
Did you know George Washington had slaves? Let's talk about one in particular. Anna Judge was George Washington's house slave. He was forced to work hours on empty, doing chores for his wife. However, one day when they weren't watching, Anna Judge snuck on a boat and escaped. Washington spent years trying to get people to recollect her, but they never caught her, and Anna Judge died a free woman.
In honor of Black History Month, I'm creating a little series I'm calling Badass Things in Black History, where I cover some lesser known awesome things that happened with Black people in Black history. My first episode is about Mary Beatrice Davidson Kinner. Mary was born to a family of inventors in Monroe, North Carolina, May 17, 1912. And when I say family, I mean her entire family. Her father was a notable inventor, so was her grandfather and her sister. Mary invented a lot of different things, but her first patent was for the sanitary belt. She first invented this in 1920, however, she couldn't afford the patent at the time. Mary's sanitary belt was designed to prevent leakage of the menstrual blood onto women's clothing. Several companies declined to work with her because she was Black. However, she still holds the record for the most patents awarded to a Black woman.
Yes, wait. Let me just make my point now. Who are sending their children to college,
that's not
who run a good
success.
home.
I keep trying to explain that. Feeding and clothing and raising a child and making sure it's not on drugs and it goes to college, that doesn't guarantee that child any emotional success in their relationships in life. That just means they may be able to get a job. See, we have to look at even what the success standard is that we're talking about. That's not necessarily success. That doesn't guarantee us success. If we can raise up an emotionally stable child, one who knows how to carry on our Black nation, who knows how to be a good mother, and still perhaps contribute to the outside community, if we can raise up fathers who take responsibility for their children and who know that their presence in the home is a needed one if we are to survive, there are a lot of other things more important than us just getting a college education and a job. That does not guarantee the success of a nation. That guarantees a personal financial success, which is not the only thing that we need to revive our...
And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?